I came to a realization the other day that we needed to talk about something, okay? Have you noticed that I don't announce in my videos anymore the state of my hair? I know, right? I know. But I do want to announce today that I am loving this color of my hair at the moment, and also the condition of my hair is the best it has been in years. It's just feeling so fucking nice. I love it. I love it. As you bitches know, I have been on my Dramini ting. You know what I mean? Like, I have been reading fan fiction after fan fiction. I'm still there. I haven't read a degular romance in almost a month at this point, and I have no plans on reading one anytime soon. We're going to talk about my favorites, the top tier fan fictions I have read thus far, and all of them are Dramini because I haven't yet escaped from them, okay? I'm still on their path. I haven't gone down the Tom Riddle or the Snape or the Lucius path just yet, but I will, all in due time. Before I go into the details of each book and tell you the titles, I need to let you guys know that since I have discovered fanfiction and I have been on this journey, I've also discovered things that I love about the Draco Malfoy fanfictions and things that I don't love so much. So I'm a dark romance reader, so you could probably presume that I love Death Eater Draco, which is correct. Death Eater Draco is my favorite, okay? I fold, buckle, bitch. I get weak in the knees anytime I read a fanfiction that has Draco as a Death Eater. There is something about the Death Eaters, babes. When I read certain fanfictions that feature the Death Eaters and Draco is a part of the Death Eaters, it gives off mafia vibes. There's something about it. It's like witchy, magical mafia vibes, and it is epic, and I love it. I don't particularly like when the fanfictions are set at Hogwarts in school. I like when they're older and it's like their lives have changed. So if you're looking for Draco fluffiness, this is not the video for you, baby, because these are dark AF. Trigger warnings galore. Going blind, don't be a fucking pussy. If you watched my last upload, you would have seen me mention Manacled already, so I'm not going to deep dive and rant and rave about this one, but I need to feature it in this video because I feel like Manacled is the blueprint. If you're gonna start anywhere with fanfiction, Manacled is where you want to go. I will be heavy on the fact that this is not a lovey-dovey fluffy thing, just like the rest of these books. This is a heartbreaking story. It is something so devastating. I felt many different emotions while reading this. It's definitely one of those books that you end up staring outside your window or at a wall for hours on end after, processing the trauma that was written within these pages. Think Harry Potter, obviously, meets The Handmaid's Tale. Harry Potter did not defeat Voldemort and he actually died. So, because the population of the wizarding world has dropped because of war and a lot of pureblood families are finding out that they're actually infertile, the women that have been captured by Voldemort who are on the opposing side of the war, so are against him, end up getting placed into those pureblood homes, and they are there to produce children. Hermione is amongst these women, and if it wasn't for the fact that her memories are blocked, she probably would be murdered by now by Voldemort, but he's very interested in wondering why she has blocked out most of her memory and thinks that there's something in there that he should know. She is to live there inside the Malfoy Manor with Draco and his wife, and they have to sleep together and she has to get pregnant. There are twists, there are turns. I did not see this plot twist coming. I didn't see any of this coming when I started reading it. It was an absolute fucking journey and I'm so grateful that I read this. Next up is Secrets and Masks. I also suggested this in my last video. This is hands down my favorite fanfiction I have read thus far, and I suggest this to everyone. So the war is ongoing. Okay, so think of the Deathly Hallows, the end of the movie, end of the book. Voldemort dies. No, 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 baby. Voldemort doesn't die in this storyline. And Hermione has become one of the best soldiers the Order has. She gets captured by a Death Eater demon mask who is Voldemort's right-hand man. And Voldemort has plans for Hermione. He wants to make her his personal weapon on the battlefield. So he ends up tying her life to Draco Malfoy's, and she has to go live with Draco in the Malfoy Manor. And yeah, this is the best enemies to lovers I have ever read. The sex was insane, the chemistry, the slow burn, I cannot get over it. It has also the best found family representation that I have ever read. Like, I felt like I was at home. You know when you read some stories and they're found families that good that you look at them and read them as if they're your own friends and you just wish you had a friend group like that? This is that story. I will say this has like an unconventional ending. I wouldn't say it's not a happy ever after. I believe it is, but some people may disagree. Regardless, it's something that needs to be read. Like, you need to read it. It's the best. It's my favorite. I love it. Secrets and Masks has not left me. Next up, we have The Auction and Baby Boo. Baby Boo. This is on par with Secrets and Masks. I loved this so much. It is incredible. So we've got Hermione and Draco, obviously, yet again. Draco is a Death Eater, and this is post-Wizarding War. She gets captured at the end of the war. So anyone that's been captured, which Hermione is one of them, is to be placed up for auction and is to be sold to a Death Eater as a slave. Draco Malfoy actually buys Hermione and she goes and lives with him and his parents in the Malfoy Manor. So when she's heading off to the manor, she's thinking, bitch, what the is gonna happen to me? Okay, what is gonna happen to me? I am now Draco Malfoy's slave and I'm going to be living in the Malfoy Manor with Narcissa and also Lucius. But she's pleasantly surprised when she gets to the manor and she has her own room. They have bought her all new clothes. She is fed, she is dressed, she is actually really well accommodated for. The one thing that I loved about this was having Draco's parents in the book. A lot of the time in most fan fictions, they're dead or they have been imprisoned in Azkaban, where this was not the case. All Hermione really knows is that Draco's trying to protect her and this is the only way he could in this situation. You get to meet all the other Death Eaters as well. So there's like Theo and Blaise and all of them. Pansy, which is one of my favorite female characters I have ever read in any novel. Every time Pansy pops up in a fanfiction, I'm like, yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch. I love Pansy. Okay, Pansy is amazing. Slytherin house for life, you know what I mean? I feel like The Auction doesn't get as much hype as Manacled or Secrets and Masks, and it's definitely up there. It's top tier. It's actually the third book within the series. So this author, which I will tell you, has written 3 books in this series, and this is kind of like the version of what would happen if Voldemort won. And then there's another one where Voldemort dies, and I'm not sure what the other one is. I haven't read the other 2 yet, but I'm definitely going to, and I plan on very, very soon. The person who wrote this too is the same person that wrote Forget Me Not as well. So she wrote these obviously before she published her own novel, and she's incredible. We'll love it. I haven't read this novel, but I've read, you know, obviously The Auction, and it was so good. I think about it all the time. I loved everything about the manor, the portraits, the relationship Hermione had with Narcissa, even the way Lucius was, and Draco, my god, my sweet boy, he was divine, darling. Next up we have Cruel and Beautiful World, which actually has been pulled down off the internet and has been published as a regular novel now. I did end up finding it though. I searched high and low because I found this. Someone had said that this was one of the best Death Eater Draco fanfictions. So I was like, I have to read it. I have to find it. So I did. And I really liked this one as well. So we have Death Eater Draco again. And Hermione actually is enslaved right now and escapes. Draco actually finds her and takes her back to his apartment and keeps her hidden while they kind of come up with a plan of getting her out of London, because right now they're in London, and back to Harry and Ron. So Harry's still alive, the Order is still functioning, she, you know, hasn't seen them since she had been enslaved, and her plan as well as Draco's is to get her back to them. But Hermione is very traumatized and she's been through a lot, being enslaved by Death Eaters and being passed around between pureblood homes. She has experienced a lot of trauma and abuse, and she's quite broken at this point, and Draco is trying to kind of put her back together. It was fire! Again, my top 3, as you can tell, are Manacled, Secrets and Masks, and also The Auction, but this one was really good as well. Then we have Damaged Goods, which is one that you guys recommended to me on Instagram. And this one I do really like. I do not love it as much as the other ones, but I am going to place it into this video because I think a lot of people would really like it. The one thing I didn't like was the fact that it was set in Hogwarts. And as I said before, like, I just kind of like when the fanfictions are separate to Hogwarts and it's like they're grown. This does take place post-war. Hermione has gone back to Hogwarts to continue her education. So think of it as like a college romance. Draco, ex-Death Eater, rocks up and catches her masturbating while she's watching two of his Slytherin friends bang in the library. And they end up having a sexual relationship, kind of like a one-night stand. And then it goes from there. There is a plot. Besides them just banging, all these stories have really decent, good plots, magical plots. Hermione definitely goes through a bit of a soul-searching journey in this book, and she feels really separated from Harry and Ron, like she's lost herself, and she's kind of rediscovering who she is post-war as a young adult, and Draco kind of guides her and helps her through that. And as you could imagine, there's a lot of swoon-worthy moments with this one. Measure of a Man is one of my favorites. I love all of these, but this one, right under the auction, okay? Right under the auction. This one is very large. All of these fan fictions are very long, lots of words, lots of pages. This one took me an entire week to read, and I was like consistently reading like every day and night, every waking minute that I had, I was reading this. This I love with my entire soul, because it is not Death Eater Draco, even though Death Eater Draco is my favorite. This is post-war, like years down the track. Hermione is now a healer, and she actually gets hired by Narcissa to be her personal healer, because Narcissa has a medical issue. She takes on the job regardless of her own opinions on Narcissa and the Malfoy family, and obviously she bumps into Draco while she's working from their home. It's interesting because she hasn't seen or interacted with Malfoy since the war, and it's been like a long time. She is suspicious of him, he is suspicious of her, but the best part of the Measure of a Man is Scorpius. So Draco has a son, and his wife has recently passed away. So this is a single father romance, single dad. Scorpius is the heart and soul of this novel. I loved that little boy with my entire heart. I would jump in front of a train for this little boy. He was beautiful, and he really made this book. I will say now, I'm not someone that loves a slow burn, but I really loved this, and this is the most extra slow burn I have ever read. It reminded me of the slowness of Mariana Zapata books. Like, it was long and it was slow, but it was so worth it. Even though it's not as dark as the other ones, I definitely highly suggest everyone read this, because I loved it, and I think that it is one of the best single dad romances I have read. There was a lot of trauma, a lot of emotions, a lot of having walls built and needing to bring them down to let people in, that type of vibe. And I really enjoyed Narcissa in this book as well. This is one that I read a few days ago, and it's called Contradictions. I loved this because this was a little bit more smutty and a little bit more playful and not as dark as the other ones. Though Measure of a Man isn't as dark as the other ones that I've recommended, it still had its moments, where Contradictions is a little bit more on the fluffier side, though it is BDSM. So, let me paint the picture for you. Hermione has discovered within herself that she's unsatisfied with her sex life, no matter who she sleeps with. Her and Ron are no longer together, and while she's been single, she's definitely been exploring herself and her sexuality and trying to figure out why she feels so disconnected when it comes to the bedroom. And she ends up deciding to sign up and become a member of this sex club. So she ends up going in for her first experience, and she is blindfolded. She's been assigned a dom who comes in, and they meet for the first time, and the first sexual scene unfolds. At the end of it, Hermione is shocked at how her body and her mind and her, you know, everything responded to the scene, and then she freaks out when she figures out it was Draco. It was Draco. Regardless of her opinions of the Malfoys, and especially Draco, she decides to keep going on with this BDSM kind of situation with Draco as her dom, because he is, you know, teaching her some things she didn't even know about herself. The sex in this book is next level. Obviously it's BDSM, which is sometimes not my favorite. I don't tend to read a lot of BDSM romances, but this one was done so well. If you're a beginner and you have never read anything to do with BDSM, this would be the perfect one to read because it goes into depth about it and really explains the sub and dom dynamics, and it was smoking hot, baby. It was spicy as hell, and Draco was divine, darling. He was just everything and more. Like, he gave off the dom vibes, next level. And when I was reading it, I could just like imagine like his voice saying the things that Draco was saying to Hermione, and I was like, oh, bitch, this makes it so much better. Now, I have read more than that, but these ones have been my kind of favorites so far. I will be bringing you another video in the next couple of weeks with some more recommendations because I'm currently reading one right now that I think is amazing, and I'll do the same when I explore like Tom Riddle and Lucius and Snape fanfictions as well. Hopefully I'll be able to read some normal romances. I'm loving this so much that I don't even really care that I haven't been reading normal romances, but it would be actually good to read, like, you know, some normal new releases like Elsie Silver's Wild Love, and like I still haven't read Cora Riley's book yet, which will be coming. When I read it, I'll sit down and talk about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you haven't read any of these yet. If you have, let me know in the comments below your opinions, thoughts and feelings and emotions. If you have any recommendations for Draco or any fan fiction to do with the Harry Potter world, don't forget there is a comment box down below. Like and subscribe before leaving. I still love Draco Malfoy, baby, and I'm obsessed with him, and you need to be obsessed with him too. Okay, I know I've convinced so many of you to go and read fanfiction, but all of you need to. All of you need to. It will change your life. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.